welcome in to the Tickets post-game show. I'm Carter Longi, sitting in here as we wait for DP to join us shortly. We'll have Nick Sainert calling in later. He was at the game tonight, currently attending the post-game presser, I believe. So for now, we will wait for our guests to get here in DP and Nick. So today we're going to be recapping Nebraska's 93-70 win over Minnesota. Women's basketball team bounces back after a unexpected loss to Penn State this past Thursday. That comes after a big upset against number 5 Indiana on Monday. So, they needed a win to get back on track here. They have now hit the 20-win mark on the season. Heading into tonight, they were 19-7. Puts them at 20-7 on the year now after today's win. I believe they moved to 9-7 in the conference now, which again, Big Ten tournament's coming up soon. So they're going to need, as many conference wins as they can get, as they want to have the best position as possible for that. They should get a first round bye based on the setup that the Big Ten tournament has. So we'll kind of have to see how that all shakes out when it's all said and done. There was some news that broke this past weekend with the women's basketball team. Chuck Love was put on leave, I guess, paid leave, and then they removed Ashley Scoggin from the team. There's not a whole lot of detail on that right now. There's a lot of rumors floating around, but we're not going to speculate on anything until we have more things set in stone. I'm definitely not somebody who should be commenting on that because I don't have all the information, and so I just don't really feel like it's my place. But that leaves Nebraska today, and also, of course, the game against Penn State as well, left them without their best three-point shooter, right? So that's not ideal for a team that's, trying to win Big Ten basketball games. While they do have other shooters on this team, they've got other people who can score. It doesn't create the best scenario in terms of trying to pick up wins. But they defeated Minnesota. Minnesota is not the cream of the crop in the Big Ten by any standard or any measure. I believe they sit towards the bottom of the Big Ten standings. I guess not too far down. They're just a couple spots behind Nebraska, but nevertheless, they were still a lesser opponent. Nebraska definitely was the better team in this one, and that's who ended up winning the game. Again, your final score was 93-70. Looking at some of the stats here, team stats first: Minnesota 44% from the field, Nebraska 54%. Nebraska got up 2 more shots than Minnesota on the game. 3-point percentage. Nebraska went 10 for 21, putting them at 47.6%. So very impressive clip for them to shoot at, especially without, again, their leading 3-point shooter for the year, Ashley Scoggin. Again, unfortunately removed from the team. We don't know what happened there. We don't have all the details. We don't have all the facts, so we're not going to speculate on anything. But they did shoot well from the 3-point line today as a team, 47.6%. They also had a good day from the free throw line, 77.3% from the free throw line, which is a good clip for them to shoot at. They've had some games this year where they've struggled from the free throw line, so it's good to see them get out and shoot well there. Rebounding wise, they won the rebound battle, 39-28. They had 22 assists on the game. Super impressive. Jazz Shelley, 12 assists. Ridiculous. She only had 5 points, 1 for 9 from the field, so it wasn't her day shooting the ball. So she decided that she was going to get others involved. So she dished out 12 assists, ended up, really contributing to that team win. I mean, they had 22 assists as an entire team. Jazz Shelley had over half of those. So, you can do about as much as you can when you're off, right? Everybody has those days where you're not hitting shots, and some people choose to just, kind of give up on a game, or, it's just not my night. So I'm just going to kind of float along here. But Jazz Shelley decided that she was going to take it upon herself to get her teammates involved, as she'd done so many other times this season. She time after time leads the team in assists and rebounds, and it's just really impressive. I can't say enough about it. She only had 3 turnovers, which 3 turnovers by one player isn't ideal, but again, the assist to turnover ratio is out of this world, so I think we'll let her slide on that one. Allison Widener is starting tonight. Again, without Ashley Scoggin, she had a big night, 23 points, 8 of 10 from the field, 3 for 3 behind the 3-point line. So really stepped up and kind of taken some of that weight in terms of the 3-point shooting. She had also pulled in 5 boards, had an assist in 25 minutes. So Allison Widener was scoring at a very good clip for all this game. She just had nearly a point a minute, really 23 points in 25 minutes. Very, very good, strong game for her. Before I kind of finish rounding out this stat line rundown here, feel free to text in on the Starter Heyman text line and let me know your thoughts on the game, your thoughts on the season. 402-464-5685. Again, we should be joined by DP shortly. I believe he was doing a Zoom conference for one of his books, so hopefully he'll get in here soon. And then we'll have Nick calling in later as well. He was at the game, attended the post-game presser, so we'll get those guys in here shortly too, so we can kind of talk with them, and we'll kind of get some different opinions in here. But continuing this rundown again, I've already mentioned Shelly had 12 assists, really good day dishing out for her. Widener carried the load in the points department, 23 points on 8 of 10 from the field. Very, very efficient scoring. Sam Hybe had 14 points, 5 of 6 from the field. Again, another efficient night, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. So they had two so far. All three players that we mentioned so far have been perfect from the free throw line. Again, they only missed 5 as a team tonight. 6 rebounds and 5 assists for Hybe. Really, really solid all-around game for her. I didn't get to watch most of the game. Just complete transparency here. That's why I'm kind of hoping that we get DP and Nick in here soon so we can get some more comments and stuff from them. But again, just looking at the stat line here, it looks like Nebraska had one of their most complete and efficient games as a team that they've had this season. Izzy Bourne, 17 points on 8-11 from the field. She knocked down a 3-pointer, 4 boards, 28 minutes for her. Markowski had 15 points, 5 of 10 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3-point land, 4 for 6 from the free throw line. She hauled in 9 rebounds in 28 minutes. Solid game for her as well. Caton added 9. Cravens added 2. Moriarty added 5. And Coley added 3. Played a lot of different players tonight. Let's see, we ended up playing 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 women played on the floor tonight. So really great depth in a game where they were up by 23. They really broke it open in the third quarter or second half. Nebraska didn't even score a field goal the last 3.5 minutes, according to the stat broadcast page. So that's even more impressive. The fact that they went the last 3.5 minutes of the game without scoring and they still won by 23 points really tells you how well they played for the rest of this game. After the first quarter, it was 23-16, just a 7-point lead. You may remember last time they played Minnesota, it was a tight game. They only won by 3 points. I believe 70-67 was the final score. So, some people might have been super confident heading in this one. Minnesota pushed them to the brink last time. But after the first half, again, still up by 7, and then they broke it open, right? Third quarter, that outscored them 30-13, pushing that lead up to 20. And from there, they just kind of had to coast, ride the lead all the way out. Ended up winning by 23. Looking at Minnesota here, their leading scorer was Scalia, if I pronounce that correctly, 22 points, 8 of 16 from the field, 2 for 5 from the 3-point line, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. They only had 2 other women in double figures. Smith had 10, and Sissoko, hope I pronounced that correctly, had 14. So again, when you only score, 70 is not really a bad point total. I mean, that's not super low, but it's not ideal for Minnesota. Obviously, that's why they lost by 20. So, not a whole lot to say, I guess, here for Minnesota. 44% from the field, 22.2% from the 3-point line, 72.7% from the free throw line. I believe Nebraska out-rebounded them on the game. They outshot them from the field. They outshot them from the 3-point line. They outshot them from the free throw line. They had less turnovers, more points off turnovers. Pretty much anywhere you look, Nebraska pretty much won. The only stat category that Nebraska did not lead in this game was the bench points. A lot of that is attributed to the fact that their starters scored so much, and then I guess blocks. But I mean, blocks don't really count for too much. They don't account for a lot when you look at how things work. Taylor Stewart says Allison Weiner deserved the start and she balled out. I agree. I mean, without Scoggin there, they obviously had to slide somebody into the starting lineup. Everybody expected to be Weiner. I mean, she started against Penn State as well. And yeah, she's been really impressive in her freshman campaign. She's had some really good games. She's had a couple of games where she's looked a little, overwhelmed at times, or gets a little flustered out there sometimes. But tonight's, one of those occasions where, with freshmen, a lot of times you see it in every sport, right? Or not even college sports, even just professional sports as well. Freshmen, rookies, anywhere you look, they show flashes, and then they also have games where they have some pretty slow games. There's definitely a learning curve. You hear DP and Nick talk about a lot the wall that a lot of players hit, not just freshmen. Any players hit, especially in the Big Ten as we kind of head closer to tournament time. But it's more common for freshmen to kind of sometimes get to that point where teams got more tape on them, and they're just kind of beat up and tired physically, and it gets to the point where it's tough for them to continue going out there and performing well. But Widener did a great job tonight. Again, she had 23 points, 8 of 10 from the field, 100% from behind the 3-point line, 3 for 3 there. She was also 100% from the free throw line. You really can't be much more efficient than she was. Again, she only played 25 minutes, so that's the least amount of minutes that any starter played. And she just went out there, made the most of her time, and I believe she'll keep getting the starts as long as she keeps playing like this. Nebraska led for 39 minutes in this game. So that's nearly the entire game. Minnesota, it says, led for 12 seconds total, and then there was 42 seconds where the game was tied. So obviously, I'm gonna assume that was the beginning of the game. Again, I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but Nebraska, complete dominance in this one. I think I'm gonna throw it to break here quick. I know it's a little earlier than usual to throw a break, but hopefully we'll get DP and Nick in here soon. We can continue breaking down this game a little bit more as we go along here on the Ticket Post Game. Leon, you're listening to 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We'll be right back.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
The Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council present the story of Cynthia and Ed.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, out of the blue, she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn or just stay at the stop sign. She wasn't even really sure where she was at. She was very concerned. It was very unsettling for her.
It's important for you to talk to someone about it, to bring the family in on it. I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and test us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
this is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Old School with DP and J.
And I learned this about the difference between the college game and the NFL. Every play is designed offensively and defensively for one guy to make a mistake, whether it's being out of your gap, forgetting the blitz, forgetting a check on offense, forgetting the snap count. In college, it might be explosive play, 15 yards, whatever you deem as explosive play. The pros,
all of them are house.
All of them are. The guy will hit his head on the goalpost.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey everybody, it's time for today's STEM tip. Want to know how to make your selfies even better? Okay, let's use science. The best time for photos is golden hour. That's the moment right before the sun sets, when the atmosphere scatters blue and violet wavelengths, making perfect, soft, and golden selfie light to show off that beautiful face of yours. Click. Check out Chic and STEM for more inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
If you're worried your friend may be struggling, remember, you don't have to be there to be there.
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could write them a text or knit them a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write them a letter. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You can ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
The Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council present the story of Tom and Levi.
Tom is the smartest man I know. He's been a professor at 2 major universities, been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, he told me that he was having problems in his classes. I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. And he was telling them that he was doing it as a favor to them. But I think in reality, he just wanted to get out of there. I was really starting to worry because I saw something was wrong.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me, and my love for him was just immense.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Ticket Postgame Show. I'm Carter Longy, and now joined by DP. DP, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm sorry for the delay.
It's all right. Not a big deal. We made it through it. So what are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, this is Interesting times. I mean, Carter, full disclosure, you and I have talked about recent goings on and how difficult it is to get through difficult times and watching players come together and fan base. Fan base showed up in great numbers today. That was good to see. It was good to know that the fans were going to show up. They did a nice ticket giveaway. So if you went to the game, the men's game Friday, your tickets were good today as well. So there's a lot of general admission fans in the building. The play was what you've been looking for them to play at a high level, and shoot at the high level, defend at the high level. That was the playbook that we had been given early in the year to see what was going to work for Nebraska as they went through the season. On a day when Widener comes off the bench, gives you 8 for 10 from the field, 3 of 3 from 3. Sam Hybie was 5 of 6. Bourne was 8 of 11. Markowski was 5 of 10. You got Michael Caton with 3 of 5 off the bench. Moriarty was 2 for 2. But more importantly, that they won the rebounding battle in a game that Minnesota tried to make physical. The Minnesota Bigs were active early, but to watch Bella and Bella does what she does. It was interesting to watch Izzy kind of expand her game and be a little bit more fluid offensively. Markowski did Markowski work. You get 23 from Widener, 17 from Bourne, 15 from Markowski, and 14 for Hybie, 9 from Michael Caton off the bench. That sort of play is what leads you to a 20-win season. So it's kind of good to watch and kind of good to go through.
Yeah, and we just got Nick Sainer on the line now as well. So, Nick, you're now live. So go. You can give us your thoughts on the game whenever you're ready.
Hey, what's up, guys? So, yeah, I mean, Nebraska, they get their 20th win. I think let's not bury the lead on that one. They get their 20th win of the season. First time since 2017, 2018 that they made or have hit 20 wins on the year. Sorry, I'm walking out of PBA and some train decides to blow its horn, so I apologize. But no, I mean, the 2017, 2018, I mean, I believe that was Amy Williams' second year. They made the NCAA tournament that year. So looking ahead, like this year, you have a good feeling that Nebraska's done enough work throughout the course of the season, and with a 9-7 Big Ten conference record, I mean, you feel like they're in a pretty good position to make the NCAA tournament. But, we'll see. I mean, they got 2 games against winnable opponents, Wisconsin and Northwestern coming up, so we'll see how they kind of close out the season.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a fantastic season, no doubt about it, and I'm sure a lot of people wondered how they'd perform today, coming off of some of the trials and tribulations that they had over the past couple of days. But I think there was probably no better way that they could have responded than this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and Coach Williams kind of said in the press conference after the game that she just continued to tell them, like, lean on each other, and that just because of the stuff that's happened over the 48 hours, which once again we don't really know a whole lot about, because we'll wait on an official statement before we actually talk about it. But with that whole thing, like she just said to continue leaning on them, and I felt like they did. They did a really good job today. Obviously, Allison Weiner stepped up big, and she made it very clear. And Izzy Bourne and Sam Hybie, who were up on the podium as well, both said, our goals have not changed. They kept repeating that. So I thought that was really, really encouraging as we close out the regular season here.
Yeah, it was a great game all around. You spoke of Widener. She had 23 tonight on 8 of 10 shooting. Another player with a big game that I think that you can't say enough about, Jazz Shelley, who had a tough day shooting the ball, ended up helping in other types of ways. She had 12 assists tonight along with 5 rebounds. Continues to do what she always does. Even when she's not on from shooting, she finds a way to just really elevate this team in other ways.
Well, and that's something that me and DP have talked about, extensively on previous post-game shows, is that Jazz Shelley and just this whole team altogether, I mean, the way that Jazz Shelley can impact the game in a lot of positive ways that's not the scoring column, you feel really good about. She had, the 4 assists in the first 4 minutes of the game. And so when you see that kind of production right off the bat, you're encouraged. Nebraska came out with a lot of energy as well. I mean, PBA was rocking right off the start as well. So there was a lot of things to be encouraged about, despite what's happened over the last 48 hours and things like that. You mentioned Allison Weiner. I thought obviously she played really, really well. New career high 23. She beat her previous career high by 9 points when she scored against Penn State on February 3rd here in Lincoln. So, I mean, and it was really interesting. They did a really good job of in the third and fourth quarters of really stepping on the throat and keeping the throttle down, which is something they didn't do in their previous game against Penn State, right? They were up 13 in the fourth quarter against Penn State on the road, and they allowed Penn State to come back and win that one. So they did a really good job of not allowing Minnesota to stay close and ended up keeping their foot on the gas pedal and winning big tonight.
Yeah, after the first quarter, they were up 23-16. And then that lead held at 7 after the first half, ended up outscoring them 30-13 in the third quarter. So I think that was really big. Just give them a little bit of cushion heading out towards the rest of the game.
Yeah. So, I mean, the way that when we just talked about it a second ago, I mean, the way that this team really just all works together, it's really exciting because like they didn't skip a beat today, and obviously there's a lot going on, and I don't want to keep bringing that up, but I thought it was very encouraging. I'm going to keep saying that word throughout the next couple days and couple weeks as the regular season ends out. But I mean, they have winnable games against Wisconsin and Northwestern now. I mean, Wisconsin's below 500, Northwestern similar to Wisconsin, and Nebraska beat them last year when they were ranked. So I mean, like Nebraska, with them being so deep, you're seeing big performances from Allison Weiner step up and things like that, to where you have players. Kendall Moriarty had a really strong 30 seconds tonight, where she impacted the game in more ways than one. And Michael Caton hit a couple threes that's uncharacteristic for her when she's really strong on defense and really brings that spark to the defensive side of the ball. And then Jazz Shelley doing what she does. So, I mean, there's a lot to be excited about the rest of the season. And let's not forget, like, this is a team that when they're down star players, they always have players that step up. If you think about on the road at Iowa, Jazz Shelley was out that game, and Nebraska found themselves in the game towards the end of the ball game. So, like, once again, Michigan State, they were not shooting well, but still they only lost by 3, and they found themselves with a chance to win it in the final minute. So, like, when they always get hit with adversity, that's something that you have to give credit to Amy Williams and this coaching staff as they continue to coach and teach their team to find ways to still compete and still find ways to have an opportunity at the end of games or at the latter of a game. And really, that's all you can ask. So there's a lot to be excited about the rest of the season, and I'm kind of looking forward to it if they can put a little 3-game winning streak together here to close out the regular season. I think the Big Ten tournament in early March is really going to be exciting, not only because of Nebraska, but just the quality of competition that they're going to see. I mean, Maryland, who Nebraska played already this year and fell up short. Iowa's always been competitive. Michigan State's gotten a couple big wins over Michigan this year. And then you have Michigan with Naz Hillman as well. So the Big Ten tournament is going to be really, really fun to watch, and a lot of eyes need to be on not only Nebraska, but the rest of the competition in that tournament.
DP?
Yeah, I'm sitting back because I thought they'd finish on a streak. I thought they'd get the win against Penn State. I thought they'd win today. I felt pretty comfortable being in the room that it was playing out the way they wanted it to play out. The off the court stuff is pretty burdensome when it comes to weight and focus and attention. But on the court, to get the performance you got, look, this is what you expected to do. It's good to have the additional pieces step up, having folks shoot the ball well. The Jazz shooting doldrums is a bit of a concern. It's been over a couple of games, but she did a real good job of getting her teammates involved. So, a great win, a 20-win season in difficult times where you can put up 20 wins no matter what's going on. Well done. And then it'll be an interesting few days because now you've got to get ready for Wisconsin. You're going on the road. That may help this team by getting away. I wouldn't be surprised if, they got away early and got to Madison and kind of got in the bunker and gotten things done. But then they'll come back next Sunday for Northwestern and be able to finish out the season and set themselves up for the first round of the Big Ten tournament. So, all things in order. It's a great win number 20. Wisconsin up next, and we'll see how the rest of this thing plays out.
Well, and similarly, I want to make one comment. Like we talk about, how the players would have responded with everything happening and losing the associate head coach for tonight's game or today's game and stuff like that, and losing the starter. I think it's really important that we give credit to Amy Williams as well, because this can't be easy on her, losing, an assistant that's been with her at least 6 seasons, going back, previously to her days at South Dakota. She's brought this whole staff with her from South Dakota to Nebraska. And this is really the first incident that's happened or that they've had to address in her time at Nebraska. And so, there was a lot of emotions, I'm sure, that she was kind of hiding in the post-game press conference. You could kind of tell by her. It was taking a little bit of a toll as well. But, like kind of DP said, if you get this kind of performance, number one, that's really impressive that you're able to kind of put everything on the back burner for now until you have to address it in a couple days. But then it's also encouraging for the future of who you have, not only coming into the program, because Amy Williams said in the post-game press conference that she doesn't expect anything that to happen to, hinder their recruiting efforts or hinder future recruits coming in, since Chuck Love's a big piece of the recruiting deal. But, so she made that very clear that she still feels comfortable about that. And also the young players in the locker room right now, we continue talking about it, but, Allison Weiner with a new career high, Kendall Moriarty, Kendall Coley found some significant minutes towards the latter part of the game as well because of some foul trouble that Bella Cravens got in. And Alexis Markowski is obviously a big part. So I think it was an all-around really impressive effort, barring everything that's happened on and off the court. Because don't forget, they came off of a game where they blew a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter as well.
Yeah, it's a really good sign all around with all this stuff going on, because obviously they never wanted this adversity to begin with. But, heading into the Big Ten tournament, NCAA tournament, we assume anyways, I think in any sport, it's good when you can learn how to handle this kind of stuff before it truly counts, because I think that just sets them up even better, heading down the road here.
Did Nick bail?
Oh, sorry. No, I'm here. I'm sorry. I was thinking somebody else would take it. No, you're absolutely right. The adversity, when adversity strikes off the court, maybe it can help you on the court. DP as a coach knows probably that better than I do. But then if you get into the later stages of a game and a couple people are in foul trouble and adversity is facing you in the face, you can step back and say, we've been here before, we've thought through it, and so we know how to handle it, and we feel confident in our abilities.
Yeah, I'm in the space that I'm glad they get win number 20. I'm glad that they did it at home in front of a crowd that could be supportive and appreciative. It was good to see the lower bowl, 60% full. It looked like a team that's being supported. They had good energy. Of course, it was, a pink out sort of day. So we understood the tributes to cancer and what was going on. The burden of what happens, I'm focusing in this hour, I'm focusing on today's game and the production of things that happened on the floor today. We will have plenty of time to deal with the off-court stuff, and we will. But yeah, I'm impressed. I loved seeing Izzy. This looked like last year's Izzy Bourne, first of all. This looked like last year's Sam Hybie, right? This looked like Sam Hybie that would take over stretches of Big Ten games against top quality opponents and get them through. Markowski is Markowski. Again, she gives you another 15 and 9 that was necessary to get them through in the big battle. Jess Shelley with 12 assists and the 5 rebounds. Widener has been the X factor, and it's good to see her adjust from Penn State to give the kind of performance she got tonight. Like 23 points on 10 shots. That's as efficient as you can possibly be. Did well in transition, getting the ball into different spaces on the floor. And the 3 for 3 from 3 was big, right? It's a big deal. The question is whether you're going to do that. They were 10 of 21 from 3. That's impressive. 54% from the field, 48 from 3, 77 from the free throw line. So they did all the things that were required. They won the rebound battle. They were on the plus side when it came to turnovers, gaining advantage there. 7 steals, getting in space. Most of that Jess Shelley jumping passing lane. So on the floor today, 93 points, in a 20-win scenario where the game had value and then the bounce back from Penn State. Yeah, 93 points is a lot offensively. I still think 70 points would have been too much defensively, but I'm okay with it in the way they approached it. They got it done. It's a big win at home to get 20 wins. So we can exhale a little bit. We got some things, other than Jazz shooting the ball, we're not really concerned about anything this team has on the floor. We'll deal with the rest of it later.
Well, on that note, we'll take another quick break here, and then we'll come back to close this women's basketball postgame out. Again, you're listening to 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We'll be right back.
Shopping for insurance can be a tedious and frustrating task, but the agents at Brokers Insurance Agency will do the work for you. They have partnered with over 20 of the best insurance carriers in the nation, which allows them to do the shopping all for you. Whether you're looking for business insurance or employee benefits for your company, or you're looking to save money on your home and auto insurance, Brokers Insurance Agency has the agents and solutions to help meet your goals. Call 402-420-5353 or email staff at brokersinsurancene.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
The Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council present the story of Cynthia and Ed.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, out of the blue, she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn or just stay at the stop sign. She wasn't even really sure where she was at. She was very concerned. It was very unsettling for her.
It's important for you to talk to someone about it, to bring the family in on it. I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Here's your binky, buddy. We'll be home soon.
You'd never give your baby a pacifier that has cigarette ash on it. But if you're smoking around your kids, yeah, it's kind of like that. Secondhand smoke contains thousands of toxic chemicals that can have a lasting effect on your child's health. Protect your children. Don't smoke around them or any child.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Part-time job, full-time hustle, all-time Shiro to all of us. You nurture, we listen. You teach, we thrive. You lift our spirits, but we've got to lay down the truth. It's time for you, our Shiro, to stretch for the stars. Start saving more for retirement now. so you can feel prepared and live your life to the fullest. Get free tips to help boost your retirement savings now at aceyourretirement.org/Shiro.
A message brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
At Farmers Insurance, we know that a bundle of joy can sound like many different things. But to us, a bundle of joy sounds a little more like this. Because we know when you bundle your home and auto insurance with Farmers, you could save an average of 20%.
Really? My bundle of joy just makes a lot of drool.
Ah, the joys of parenthood. Visit farmers.com or call 1-800-FARMERS to get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Reported 2018 nationwide average savings underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Hello?
Man, where are you? I thought you were coming.
I can't. I'm in bed with the flu.
The flu? Whoa. Grandma's about to crowd surf. Man, I'll call you back.
Don't get stuck at home with the flu. A flu shot is safe, effective, and you can get it at the same time as your COVID-19 vaccine. A flu shot is the best way to prevent the flu and its potentially serious complications. Don't get flu FOMO. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
Brought to you by the AMA, CDC, and the Ad Council.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam! Ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor. Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Welcome back to the Ticket Post Game. I'm Carter Longi. We have Nick Sainert on the phone. Thank you for tuning in after the Nebraska women's basketball team knocked off the Minnesota Golden Gophers 93-70, moving them to 20 wins on the season. I believe they have 9 conference wins now, if I'm not mistaken. Nick was at the game. He attended the presser, so he's a little bit more informed on how everything went down tonight than I am. So I'll kind of turn it over to Nick here, and he can kind of go with whatever he wants to.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a pretty uneventful presser. I'm not sure that we were necessarily expecting, Amy Williams to say a whole lot, because I think it's the whole situation's pretty raw right now. Like I kind of mentioned before the break, for people that are just now kind of tuning in or joining us again. I mean, Chuck Love is an assistant that Amy Williams has been with for at least 6 years, over 6 years. Her whole time at Nebraska, he's been on her staff. He was part of her staff at South Dakota, where she was previously the head coach at before Nebraska. I mean, when she came from South Dakota to Nebraska, she brought her whole staff. So, like Tom Gailey and Chuck Love and the rest of the assistants on this staff, I mean, they are all parts of, Amy Williams' original staff. So I'm sure it's pretty raw right now, the whole, not being with Chuck Love. And they obviously went through some turbulence and things like that with the whole COVID year and people testing positive and having to isolate and all that. But I think a big portion of it was, there's so much uncertainty with what's going to happen right now. And unfortunately, I think that's kind of the case across the board. Talking to people just from other people, or I guess, hearing what other people are saying and trying to gauge the temperature in the room, I guess everybody's just kind of uncertain and kind of just hanging on to wait to hear from the athletic department itself. And so I guess kind of my message to Husker fans is don't believe all the speculation. I've seen some pretty crazy thoughts out there, and I would just say don't read too much into the speculation. Don't think too much about it, because the more likely option is that that's not really that true. So I would be careful, reading too much into the situation. But unfortunately, we do know a couple of the facts, and they're going to have to figure out. Nebraska, I should say, is going to have to figure out a way to stay competitive in ball games. And like we said earlier in kind of the post-game show, they've done it before, where their star player, whether that's Jazz Shelley, whether that's Sam Hybe because of a shoulder injury, or like tonight, whether it's without Ashley Scoggin, unfortunately, which they were not expecting to have to, endure and fight through until a couple days ago. They've always stepped up. They've always stayed competitive. They've always leaned on each other, which was a big motto or phrase that Amy Williams continued to use all post-game press conference. And talking to Izzy, they were asked quite a bit about, how has the chemistry changed? How have you felt, because up to this point, the last 3 months of the season, this team from the outside looking in, and I think it truly is, just, being able to be around this program as much as I am and going to every home game and things like that. And I think the chemistry was as good as you could have hoped for, or as good as you can get, leading up to the previous 3 months here. And Amy Williams and Izzy Bourne and Sam Hybe all were on the same page. And I think in saying that hasn't changed just because of recent events. Now, obviously, I think the whole situation's kind of raw, and they're still waiting for, official word on and official, what happened. And like DP said, we'll hear that in the coming days. But for today's performance, I think it was as good of a comeback because of the last 48 hours. But then also, I think on the court, coming off of that, that game against Penn State, where Penn State's one of the bottom teams in the Big Ten in terms of women's basketball this season. They're not like they were 8 years ago when Nebraska joined the league and a top 10 program. They're kind of a bottom team in the Big Ten this season, and Nebraska let that one slip away. And that's a win that's a game, I should say, that when you get towards March and in seeding and you're figuring out where you're going to go for the NCAA tournament, that's definitely a game that's going to hurt. But they bounced back, and they completely rolled a middle of the pack team in Minnesota. And I give credit to Nebraska because they could have come into this one and the whole thing could have unraveled before our eyes. Credit to Nebraska, the players especially, for without a teammate that they're used to having for the last couple of years, and especially these last 3 months not being out there. Give credit to them for being able to, lean on each other like they kind of said in the post-game press conference, but then also give credit to Amy Williams for being able to coach through, kind of the situation that she finds herself in as a leader in Nebraska women's basketball athletics. So I give credit all around. It's an exciting day because they get their 20th win, first time that they get 20 wins since the 2017-2018 season when they made the NCAA tournament. But on the other hand, we can't forget, kind of the big story in the room, I should say, because, there's still off the court things where it has been challenging, and Amy Williams was not shy about that. She goes, the last few days we're challenging, but, we've gotten through it. And she made it very clear that, Ashley is still supported by the athletic department. So I think that's a big newsworthy piece, that the athletic department still fully supports Ashley Scoggin. So we'll see what happens, and who knows what can happen. I think we're still a couple days out from, finding more information. And like I said at the beginning of, when I started answering this question, it was, I would be careful to speculate because 98% of the stuff that I've seen out there, it would be hard to believe. So I would be careful speculating there.
Yeah, I can't agree with Nick Moore here. That goes for, not just us, but for everybody. I mean, nobody knows many facts yet. I don't even think the athletic department has close to all the facts yet. So the fact that they haven't even done an investigation yet, or a full investigation, I should say, really hits home on the fact that we shouldn't be assuming anything yet. You got to remember this; these are still people. So you don't
big time.
Yes, and Ashley's a college athlete. I mean, she hasn't even graduated college yet. Like, college athletes are just, I don't know, objectified like way too much in terms of just people only thinking them as the basketball player, right? Like, they're still people. They still go to school. They go to the same school I do. So don't speculate too much. One thing though that's kind of interesting about everything that's gone on through the past few days, and then even just on this in past kind of trials that they've seen this season is, we talk about that chemistry thing, them all coming together. You kind of almost have to wonder like why it takes a bad event happening for them to kind of rally as a team and come out and put on a completely strong performance like this. Like, could we see? It'd be awesome to see more of this without the bad thing happening.
Well, I will say this. I mean, they've put up strong performances all season long. I mean, that's kind of been strictly talking about the on-the-court performance from Nebraska. I mean, they've done their job 98% of the time this season. They've lost games against Iowa and things like that, but they weren't necessarily supposed to win those games. They went out and won games against teams they're supposed to beat, and there's a lot to be excited about regarding this Nebraska women's basketball program. And they have 2 very winnable games in Wisconsin and Northwestern coming up here next up.
Absolutely. Once again, thank you for listening to today's women's basketball post-game show. I'm Carter Longi. That's Nick Sainer on the phone. Another good win for Nebraska's women's basketball team as they knock off Minnesota 93-70. Improved to 20 wins on the season, 9 wins in the conference as they head into the Big Ten tournament. Thank you for listening today on 95.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We'll be back with more tomorrow morning.
Last 5 years.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, talking about their exciting new division, Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier and more affordable.
The exciting thing